was talking with my mentee who's 16 years old. She was basically telling me that a lot of people had been telling her that it was kind of getting to that time when she should start thinking about building credit, getting a credit card, but she had no idea what credit actually meant. And I was reflecting back to when I was 16, and I don't think I actually knew what credit meant either.
Girl, when I was 16, I was definitely not thinking about credit.
Right.
So I used to work at the mall at this kiosk.
What kiosk?
The Sprint kiosk.
Okay.
But during my breaks, I would literally walk around and shop around and make sure that I had booked enough hours that week so that I could afford the next outfit for that weekend.
Absolutely. I feel like that's the mentality when you're 16, and a lot of people don't actually know what credit means. So if you're one of those people, fear not. We're going to break it down for you so that you know exactly what you're getting into when it comes to credit.
And a lot of people actually don't know that credit in terms of personal finance is simply about borrowing money. So let's say, for instance, that you want to buy a new car, but you might not have enough money. So you'll go to a bank and ask for help. And a lot of the times, actually all the time, every time you go to the bank to borrow money, they're going to check your credit report to make sure that you're creditworthy.
And that makes perfect sense because credit is about trust or lack thereof.
Exactly.
I mean, think about it. If we didn't know each other and I walked up to you on the street and I was like, "Excuse me, ma'am, can I borrow $150? What would your response be?
Heck no, I don't know you.
Exactly. And the banks don't know you. So they're not just going to give you money and hope that you're going to pay it back. For all they know, you could take it and run for the hills, never to be seen again. Or you could be a stand-up citizen and pay them back on time.
And this is actually where creditworthiness comes into play. A bank doesn't actually know you, so they're going to rely on your credit score and your credit report to make a judgment on how good you'll be with the money.
Absolutely. And a credit report is kind of like a report card for borrowing money. So when you think about it, when you have a report card in high school, it will list all the classes you took and the grades you got in each class. Well, a credit report is similar in that it'll list all of the debts that you have out and all of the details for each debt.
And just like that, your credit score is like your grade point average. It's basically one number that's going to summarize how good you've done with your credit.
Absolutely.
So basically, you can think about it this way. A higher credit score when applying for a loan or for borrowing money is like a 4.0 GPA when you're applying to college.
Pretty much. And I do want to stress one thing really quickly because I want to be super clear on this. Just like I mentioned, a credit report is like a report card for borrowing money. It's not an indicator of your wealth. So when you think about your credit report, it's basically tying in things such as, you know, your credit cards, anything that you've borrowed money on. It's not going to tie in your savings accounts, your investments, any assets you have, or your income. So when people have high credit scores, all that really means is that they've done a really good job with borrowing money and paying it back on time. That's it.
And being creditworthy, all that literally means is that you're worthy of credit. Lenders want to know if you're going to be able to pay that back on time or not.
Absolutely. And I like what you did with the definition, so I got one for you.
Let me see what you got.
Okay. So the word credit has the root cred, which is Latin for believe. So when you think about credit in terms of personal finance, you can think of it as the lender, the person who's going to give you the money, believes that you have the financial ability to pay them back.
Wait, so you mean like street cred?
Not really. But
Okay, we won't get into it. Okay, guys. So let's say I let Samantha borrow my car last week.
Oh, thank you.
But then a week later, she has the nerve to return it with a dent, a flat tire, and completely covered in mud. Y'all tell me, what do you think I would do? Would I let her borrow my car again?
Girl, you wouldn't let me borrow a pen, a Post-it, a stapler, a
Nothing.
pencil.
Nothing. Ever again.
So in that example, Ruth was the lender, which would be like the bank or the credit card company, and I was the borrower. Had Ruth known that I'm not very responsible with other people's things, she probably would have never lent me her car in the first place.
But now, a little bit too late, you know and I know that she's not responsible at all. So this is basically the underlying idea of credit. It's the underlying idea of credit. Banks are going to want to know ahead of time whether or not you're trustworthy to pay them back and pay them back on time. So this is why they need a credit report and a credit score, which basically tells a story about your credit history.
Absolutely. And like we said before, credit is really about trust or lack thereof. So like Ruth said, the banks are going to want to know if they lend you money, are you going to pay them back on time?
And this is only the tip of the iceberg, guys. So don't worry, we have plenty more to come. So leave your comments below and make sure to subscribe to generationwealthy.org if you haven't done so already. See you guys.
Bye.
Is this one going? This one's not red.
It is.
Oh. The credit. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm like, we got super awkward.